There will come a time in your life when the noise becomes deafening. Not the kind of noise that you hear on the street, not the chatter of a crowded room, but the internal noise. The noise that creeps into your mind late at night when the world has gone quiet. The voices of doubt, the pressures of expectation, the comparisons, the opinions, the judgments, the criticism. The noise that builds up from years of people telling you who you should be, what you should do, how you should feel, and how far behind you are. And in that moment, when it feels like you're drowning in everyone else's voices but your own, you'll understand something profound. It's time to focus on yourself and stay silent. Enough waiting. It's time to move. If you're tired of the talk and ready for action, smash that subscribe button now. This isn't just motivation. It's your weekly wake-up call to show up, stay focused, and dominate your goals. Like, comment, share, and bring someone else with you on this journey. Let's grind. Let's rise. Let's win. Together. Because silence is not weakness. Silence is not passivity. Silence is not surrender. Silence is power. It's the stillness in which transformation begins. It's the space where you finally get to breathe without asking permission. Where you can look in the mirror and see yourself without distortion, without performance, without needing to be understood. The world may celebrate noise, but it is in the silence where legends are born. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not on the stage, but behind the curtain. Not in the approval, but in the process. And in that silence, something sacred happens. You begin to hear your own voice again. You begin to feel your own heartbeat, not someone else's rhythm. You begin to move differently, not because someone told you to, but because your soul is finally steering the wheel. You begin to build, not with the validation of others, but with the bricks of solitude, intention, and relentless self-awareness. You've spent so long being available to the world, answering every call, attending to every request, giving when you had nothing left. You've poured from an empty cup until your own hands were shaking, until your spirit was bone dry, hoping someone would notice, hoping someone would say, "You matter too." But they didn't. And now you know why. Because that reminder must come from you, not them, not anyone else. You. So you choose to focus. You choose to go silent, not to disappear, not to escape, but to reclaim, to refocus your gaze on the only thing you've ever truly had control over, yourself. And here's the truth that most people won't say out loud. You don't have to share your growth while it's happening. You don't owe the world an explanation for your healing. You don't have to post your progress, prove your peace, or defend your decisions. You are allowed to evolve in silence. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them fill in the blanks with their own projections. You are not responsible for managing other people's narratives about your life. You are not here to constantly clarify who you are. The more you explain, the more access you give to people who were never meant to understand your path. So don't, because not everyone deserves access to the most sacred parts of you. Not everyone deserves front row seats to your rebirth. Some people only come around to spectate your downfall. Some want entertainment, not elevation. And some will cheer for your healing only until it threatens their control. So you learn to protect your peace. You learn to protect your process. And that means pulling back. That means staying quiet. That means building in secret. They don't need to see your steps. Let them see the result. Let them wonder how you did it. Let your discipline do the talking. Let your transformation be the answer. Because when you focus on yourself, you start to notice everything that was draining you. The conversations that left you feeling small. The habits that stole your time. The people who only reached out when they needed something. The environments that made you question your worth. And you realize you were too busy being accessible to be aligned. You were too busy being needed to be nourished. So you shift. You change. You retreat. Not because you're hiding, but because you're healing. Healing isn't loud. It's not glamorous. It doesn't come with applause or recognition. Healing happens in quiet moments. In the early mornings. In the late night journaling. In the breath you take before reacting. In the boundary you finally enforce. In the mirror, when you choose not to speak negatively to yourself again. Healing is silent, but its impact is thunderous. So yes, go silent. Stay low. Stay grounded. Protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. You cannot keep giving yourself away in pieces and expect to feel whole. You cannot keep leaking energy into spaces that were never meant to hold you. And you cannot keep showing up for others when you haven't shown up for yourself. Your focus is sacred. It's rare. It's your superpower in a world addicted to distraction. The moment you reclaim it, the moment you stop scrolling, stop comparing, stop consuming, and start creating again, you become unstoppable. You become aligned. You become dangerous in the best way, because you're no longer living for anyone's permission or applause. And during this time, the people who truly care will understand. They won't guilt you for needing space. They won't demand access during your transformation. They will cheer for your silence because they trust your growth. They'll know that when you return, you'll return different, sharper, stronger, clearer, and you will. Because the time you spend focused on yourself will teach you more than 1,000 conversations ever could. It will teach you to listen to your intuition. It will teach you that peace isn't something you find. It's something you create. It will teach you that being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. It means you're in alignment. It means you're finally brave enough to face yourself fully, without distraction, without noise, without masks. And that's where the power is, in choosing yourself. Not loudly, not boastfully, but quietly, relentlessly, consistently. Choosing yourself in your thoughts, in your habits, in your morning routine, in the people you keep around, in the standards you refuse to lower. Because every time you choose yourself, you reinforce your worth. So don't be afraid to outgrow the old version of you. Don't be afraid to become so focused, so disciplined, so committed to your evolution that you make others uncomfortable. You're not here to make them comfortable. You're here to become who you were always meant to be. And becoming requires sacrifice. You'll miss parties. You'll skip calls. You'll ignore texts. You'll lose friends. You'll outgrow circles. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be doubted. But in return, you'll gain clarity. You'll gain peace. You'll gain self-respect. You'll gain purpose. So embrace the silence. Embrace the solitude. Embrace the season where nothing is certain but your dedication. You don't need to rush back into visibility. You don't need to be seen to be successful. Some of the most powerful growth happens when no one is watching, and when the time is right, when your foundation is solid, when your soul is centered, when your purpose is loud enough to carry itself. You'll reemerge, not as the same version they remember, but as the version you were destined to become. Focused, grounded, unshakable, and fully in control of your life. So for now, stay silent, stay committed, stay focused, because this is your season to rise quietly, to build without noise, to bloom without witnesses, to transform without validation. And when they ask where you went, you'll simply say, I went within, I focused, I stayed silent, and I came back whole.